What's going on, everybody? It's been a minute. Now, before you say anything, I know I'm probably way overdue for a haircut. I was trying to grow it out. I've always had my hair short for the most of my life, right? So I was trying to grow it out long because the members of my family who still have their hair, they have these thick manes, and it's like, it looks cool. And I'm kind of envious because I think I'm losing my hair. At least it's getting a little thin. So I was like, hey, I want to grow it out. But I'm in the awkward stage right now. And unfortunately, things in my life have kind of transpired to the point where I might need to look a little bit more professional. So I'm going to have to probably cut that, unfortunately. And I'm overdue. I'm kind of just putting it off. I know I need to do it and I'm procrastinating. So maybe this week. So if you guys are either invested in the series or in this channel, you're probably wondering, where the hell have I been? And I think at the time of this recording, it's probably been between 3 and 4 weeks since I last uploaded a video. Now, I'm going to address all of that right now. But to get it out of the way, I didn't get injured. Everything is A-okay. And I am still going to finish the program. Okay? So don't worry. All right? We'll talk about that in just a second. So, where I've been. Well, it all started right after, I think it was week 7, either day 1 or day 2, where around this time, I got really, really sick out of nowhere. It started off as a cold, and then it progressed to some flu-like symptoms. And again, I think I've gone through this before. It was not the Rona, thank goodness. But some flu-like symptoms occurred. It took me out of the gym for almost 5 to 6 days, I want to say. Very long time. Also, in that process, I had lost a ton of weight. I was pushing into the 60s, right? So I had shed a bunch of weight, but it wasn't good weight loss. It was like you're sick weight loss. It was that kind of weight loss, and not the up top kind either, the out the back kind. So coincidentally, this lined up perfectly with the holiday season coming around. So extended families coming into town, decorations are going up, everything is last minute gifts are being bought, it's the season, right? So if anybody knows what happens during the holiday season, people get lax, people have other priorities that are a bit higher on the totem pole. We still lifted weights, don't get me wrong. We still went to the gym. But I wasn't tracking during this time. We were lifting very sporadically in that it was not at a consistent time or consistent schedule. We kind of just went when we weren't doing something. Oh man, my light died. Crap. Yeah, well, okay. That'll have to do. Not too sure how big the difference is. Or this is better or worse, not too sure, but I'm playing with some new toys, guys. I got some new toys for Christmas and playing with them. So, as I was saying, dates are not consistent, times are not consistent. I'm not tracking my food pretty much at all because, I'll be honest, I really couldn't do that much. We went out to eat a lot, and as you know, tracking at a restaurant is very hard, and I was not anticipating all the eating. Oh my gosh. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. I love my family. We're very close, my family. Here's another thing about the holiday season. Gym hours are different. And sometimes we don't know, or I should say I didn't know, until the day that I got there. It's oh yeah, we closed early today. Didn't know. All right, didn't know. And we always have plans. Like I said, we ate out a lot. We had plans a lot. Sometimes I get to the gym, realize, holy crap, I do not have enough time to finish this workout. So I kind of either get through it or I just got to do what I can and leave, And I'm not a fitness influencer. So this is my job. So I did kind of not prioritize that 100%. And it's something that I'll have to make note of whenever I finish the program, of course. With that being said, what I did film was a lot. I've got a backlog of footage that contains 2 weeks worth of progress. I stopped on week 7, day 1. I've got a whole week 7 left, and a whole week 8 also sitting on my hard drive. So, what that means is we've done 2 weeks in a month, which is not good. Like I said, the holiday season comes, I get sick, everything gets fucked up, okay? Now, like I said, in the beginning, it is not derailing anything. We are still going to finish this program, and we are still on track to make some gains. That is clear. But I was kicking around ideas in my head, like, how am I going to disseminate this information to you? Like, how am I going to get this footage out there? And I thought about just rolling videos out one by one. But what I decided to do instead is go through a highlight reel. I'm just going to take the main movements, at least the stuff that I recorded that was the main movements. So any SBD variation, I'm going to put it all in one video, this video, and I'm going to show it to you guys so you can see kind of what it looked like. And then, starting this week, which is week 9, which is the last day of this block, or last week of this block, I will take you through the full workouts as much as possible, okay? One thing I also want to address, really quick before we get into the footage, is although I lost a bunch of weight from getting sick, because of the holiday season and because of the bounce back that usually happens when you do get sick and then you eat again, I've gained probably, I haven't weighed myself in a minute, but it's been noticeable, which means it's probably been at least 10 pounds. So there was a guy who made a comment in one of my early episodes of this series, and he said, "Bro, I can't believe that you're actually going to attempt to do this program on a fat loss phase, right? This is a strength program." Well, buddy, it might all even out in the end. So this might have just been a recomposition phase where I end up in the same place that I started. But we'll see. There's still stuff. And after this video, we can actually start looking at the future a little bit, and I'll get into what I'm thinking. But for now, let's get down to the commentary section and go over this footage.
Welcome to the commentary section, ladies and gentlemen. As mentioned previously, we are recapping the highlights of Week 7 and Week 8 of the Total Specialist. This was the first day back after getting sick, which of course was SBD Day, Week 7, Day 2. Now, because I'd been out and sick, I didn't trust my judgment when it came to assessing RPE. So I used a percentage to RPE chart, or RPE to percentage chart, to come up with my numbers pretty much for the whole week. And today, this top double landed at 375. Now, this is less than I had originally wanted to be squatting at this point in time, but I do think it was a good call because the rust was evident. I was feeling kind of creaky, very fatigued. I'd lost a lot of fitness, unfortunately, which is something that I hope I can build back to decent capacity before the end of the program, because it's going to be tough. And it just felt like a ton of bricks on my back. So it was a very good call going into this program to use, or this day, to use the percentage to RPE chart, or the RPE percentage chart. You know what I'm talking about. I kept 315 for all 3 sets of 4 because the RPE was ascending every time, and I could just feel it. It wasn't feeling good, but I wasn't expecting to feel good. I was expecting to, just survive this one. Close grip bench, I did 245, 255, 265 for my ascending sets of 7. This was not part of the RPE conversion. This was just sort of piggybacking off of last week. And in fact, I think I accidentally jumped a little too high because the close grip bench, as you'll see moving forward, is one of those lifts that I think I'm about to hit the wall on. And I might actually have to start really considering RPE. Moving on to Larson press, I kind of took a bit of a risk on this one. This is day 3. and I went with 3 plates. Now, the bench I was kind of expecting to feel terrible, but honestly, Larson Press was really smooth. 315 was a good call, and I'm very happy about how that turned out. We did 280 and 290 for our back off sets of triples. This was using the chart. I didn't want to take any risks going with the chart moving forward because I wanted to make sure that I was hitting the proper intensity. And then for our bench press sets of 6, we had 265. This is auto selected by the program, so I don't have to worry about that. And overall, like I mentioned in the squat section, fitness is kind of an issue. I'm tending to fatigue a lot faster than I really anticipated. Now, that could be a general lack of fitness. That doesn't necessarily have to do with the time off, but the time off did not help, right? So overall, Larson Press Day was pretty good. Then we move into the final day, which, of course, is Deadlift Day, the day that I was kind of dreading the most. It's actually dreading SBD Day, relatively, but I went into Deadlift Day and I did 355 for my top triple, which is again not exactly where I wanted to be pulling, but I'm using the RPE to percentage chart for this whole week. Like I mentioned, can't trust the judgment. And 375, which is interestingly right on par with where my squat is, for the top single. And that moved actually pretty well. I'm honestly surprised. Deadlifts have been feeling relatively good. I think at this point during the week, I had kind of caught up to where I was in terms of like confidence before the sickness. Like I bounced back relatively quickly. So I can't be too mad about the results of that, but at the same time, I'm still like being very strict about what numbers I'm putting in. I can't trust the judgment just yet. We had 310 for our triple back downs, and then I went into tempo squats. This is a set of 3 with 295. My thing about tempo squats I'm worried about, and this is not anything to do with the program or the time off, is my cadence. I feel like no matter what I do, my cadence is just not there. Like I'm mentally being very, very strict with my count, but honestly, with the way that these look, like these kind of look like normal reps, you know, and that really sucks. It makes me think that maybe I should have, I mean, I could be more strict, but maybe I should have, like picked pause squats instead and not had to worry all about, you know, what was going on here in terms of like trying to be strict. Like pause squats, I only got to be strict at the pause. I don't have to think so much. But I picked tempos and we're doing tempos, 260 for 2 back off sets of 6. And that is the end of all the footage from week 7. Moving into week 8 now, starting off with day 1 bench press. We did 325 for a triple. At this point, my confidence had pretty much returned, but I was still sort of playing it safe. You know, at this point, the holiday bloat was really in full effect here. So after that 325, I loaded 345 for my top single. And it moved very well relatively. The issue I'm having with the bench press is because every one of these singles is at the same RPE. So that sucks. But it's also like when I get to these really heavy loads, we're talking 90-ish% and above, I tend to like be extra cautious on my reps. And I really can't do that. Like I gotta be strong, and the bar speed is getting dangerously slow. We had 305 for all 4 sets of triples, and now we're moving into day 2 with the SBD. So, getting into these squats, I did 395 for my top double, and honestly, this moved pretty well. I have to say, at this point in time, I feel like the bar speed was actually the same as the week prior. So I really trusted my judgment on all of these. My confidence is now back. I'm able to parse RPE at least relatively more effectively, and everything is going great moving forward. Obviously, I'm eating like I'm fucking obese person. Like I am. I'm eating like a glutton here, but at the same time, I really feel like I've recovered and not feeling crusty, not feeling any sort of general fatigue. The fitness is still a little bit lacking, but overall, at this point in time, I'm feeling very, very good. We did 335, 345, 355 for back off sets of ascending fours, and these felt really good. One thing that I really wanted to work on is pushing the back down sets on the squat especially, and making sure that I'm not leaving any stones unturned or any gains on the table, because the squat is something that I really want to hit a personal record on, and I made a pact that I gotta make sure that I'm hitting these back off works and getting them all in. That is something that I've been struggling with. So we did close grip bench to 55 to 65 to 75. And once again, like, I felt like I'm hitting the walls like very, very soon. Like, this is going to be one of those lifts where I'm going to have to really, really pay attention to, okay, I need to start focusing on RPE. I need to start assessing how this feels. We've sort of linearly progressed throughout this whole program, and now we're finally hitting the point where I don't think I can do that anymore. So I'm going to have to really pay attention to how the reps feel, the bar speed, etc. And it sucks, but you got to do what you got to do. And then RDLs. I know I didn't film them the week prior, but I did get a film today, and this was 300 for a set of 5. RDLs are feeling weird. Like, I definitely feel them where I'm supposed to feel them. I can't tell if it's just my build, but they never look right. You know what I'm saying? But they're really, really good. I think RDLs is also a lift where I'm getting close to the point where I might have to pay more attention to the RPE. Like, I can't just keep ascending the way that I have been, which has been in like 15-pound increments. We did 265 for our back off sets of 5. No problem. I'm really hoping that these RDLs are carrying over the deadlifts, and maybe that's why the deadlifts feel so good recently. But I really like them. I'm glad I've gotten to push them. But all these things are starting to get me thinking about what I'm going to do next, which may be, putting the cart before the horse or whatever. But Larson press on day 3, 325 for our single, moved fast as heck. I have to be honest with you, I was not expecting that to move so quickly, but it did. It moved way fast, and it honestly gets me thinking, like, what's the discrepancy between the bench and the Larson at this point? Who knows? It's probably way closer than I think it is, which is probably means that my bench technique needs some work. 295 and 310 for our triples today. The 310 moved very slow and it was very heavy, but I did get through it and felt very confident that it was at the RPE that it was supposed to be at. So that's a really, really good sign. We had back off benching, 270 for 2 sets of 6. Once again, this is auto-selected by the program. I don't have a say in this. So just know that regardless of what I was feeling, this is what I was going to have to do based off of the top set on the Larson on this day. But it moved okay. Very fatiguing. This day is starting to get to me, which is interesting because when I started this program, it was actually the easiest day in the entire week. But now we're getting to the point where it's like, my God, this is really, really tough. Especially with all the bench volume. God, so much bench volume. Finally, We finish off with deadlifts, 365 for my triple, and for the top single, I pulled 405, which, as you guys know, is my deadlift max, technically. Which means that in the final week of the block, I'm going to hit PRs on the deadlift for the first time in a while. And this 405 moved okay, but it was probably a little bit of an overshoot. And that's because my deadlift intensity on the program is pretty low. So that's probably because I set it up that way. But 324R, back off triples. And that's it, guys. That is the highlights. That's all the footage I got. So I'm sorry about all this. But moving forward, I think we're back to where we were and in a good position to make some gains.